First on CBS This Morning, Oprah Winfrey is challenging all of us to be, well, to examine and actually re-examine how the trauma that all of us experience in one way or another as children can shape our worldview today as adults. It's part of a new book that she co-wrote with psychiatrist Dr. Bruce Perry. And Oprah urges people to flip the question, what's wrong with you, to instead ask, what happened to you? I recently had a chance to speak with both of them about how these old traumas affect us, and more importantly, what we can do now to fix ourselves. Take a look. So ever since I dipped into What Happened to You, the book we're here to discuss, I've been looking at everybody on the street as a former newborn, in your phrase, Oprah.
Yes.
Because that really gets to what the title represents, a reframing of how we look at one another. It's subtle, but it's very profound, Oprah.
It's subtle, but profound and powerful. And what you're experiencing, Tony, is what I experienced a couple of years ago doing a piece for 60 Minutes. Dr. Bruce Perry and I were talking about a childhood trauma. And in that 60 Minutes interview, he said the most important question is not what's wrong with you, which is what most people who are taking care of children who have had, behavioral issues ask. What's wrong with this kid? But the most important question is what happened to this child? And something went, whoa, inside me. And I got it in a way that I hadn't really understood in all the years I've been talking about trauma.
Trauma is a big word, Dr. Perry, but a large portion of the population, if you reflect on it, has experienced something in their life that could be defined under that big word, trauma. Could you talk a little bit about how broad the population is that's affected by these issues?
One of the things that we're learning more and more about is that the stress response systems we have in our body will be altered. And that pattern can be something that comes from a big event, like witnessing a school shooting or a natural disaster, or it can come from accumulated small, unpredictable, uncontrollable stressors, like what will happen with a child who is living in an environment where they're in the out group. They're not the right skin color, they don't have the right gender identity. And when we look at the number of people who have that, it's well over 40% of the population has some significant developmental adversity that puts them at risk.
Each of us creates a unique worldview shaped by our life's experiences. And most of that worldview, as you now have read the book, understand that worldview is shaped when you are a child. So most people think, Tony, I think that if you're in a bad relationship and your children are hearing things and it's destructive and dysfunctional, that the children will get over it and be resilient, when in fact you are doing the most damage the younger your children are. And those first 2 months are the most critical.
That's when the messages are coming through. The very same part of the brain that's learning language is also learning lessons in trauma, not the right lessons. But the good news, and I can't let either one of you go before we touch on the hopeful side of this, which is once you understand the script that led to you today, what happened to you, you can rewrite that script. And it doesn't mean years, although it can take the work of a lifetime. It can be done with small interventions.
Well, one of the things I asked in the 60 Minutes interview, why aren't I stone crazy? Considered how I was raised, why don't I have more problems? And one of the things you said to me, Bruce, is that your relationships with teachers, your relationships with people who cared about you, other than your family members. So it just means having somebody who sees you, fully sees and recognizes you, and you can connect to that, changes the way you view yourself and view the world. And that's why What Happened to You is so important to all of us.
In other words, it's love, Dr. Perry, but that love can come in small doses. It can be a few focused minutes. Your phone is put down, you're paying attention. It can be an hour-long lunch with a friend. It can be a phone call, a text message.
Absolutely. And all of those things are examples of the kind of therapeutic experience that can be provided by people who are not therapists. And so healing really comes from these moments where people are present, attentive, attuned, and truly see you, as Oprah says.
Well, the book is 300 pages that has grown out of 30 years of conversation and work between the two of you, a lifetime of experience as people and as professionals, and I hope people pick it up.
Thanks, Tony.
Yeah, you know what I thought was interesting about the book is how trauma affects you at such a young age, like the 2-month-old. Because I always remember that saying, everything I ever learned, I learned in kindergarten, or you're fully formed by the time you're 6.
Yeah.
That's just not true.
One of the things I thought was powerful about this book is it obviously helps with people dealing with their own trauma, but it also helps with forgiveness. Because we all have someone in our family who we're like, geez, that person is tough.
Yeah.
And if you stop asking what's wrong with that person and you start asking the question of what happened to them, to understand is the first step toward forgiveness.
Well, and the point is, some of these traumas, as he pointed out, can be quite small. They're not necessarily, I mean, you think of a trauma as, you know, a car crash or something.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be that big. And so much of what we do later in life is actually a reaction to what we felt in those early moments.
It's amazing the stuff that you carry within yourself. Yeah. And human connection, as we all know, so important.